Texas A&M is at a crossroads. Before them, a golden opportunity, a night in Death Valley. A win gives them a golden path, a golden road to go exactly where they want to go in their season. They've already laid the groundwork. This game all but punches your ticket to a very, very successful season. A loss puts you in the trenches, makes it a fight. And it's always a fight, but this makes things very, very difficult with a couple more road games left on the slate. This game is everything for A&M. It's against a team that is desperate and down and has only one other answer, and that is to beat A&M at home to salvage their season. It's a really, really big moment in A&M's 2025 campaign. But this team has shown us a lot. This team is 7-0. This team has thrived. This team has gotten better week over week in a lot of areas, but isn't perfect just yet. So right now, I want to talk about this team. I want to talk about what has made this 2025 unit special, but what makes this time so pivotal, because as good as A&M has been, there's a lot of work to do. There are a lot of areas they can get better. So in this video, I want to talk about what's gotten A&M to this point and what else needs to continue to improve, because there's a lot of meat on the bone for this football team. And that's both nerve-wracking and exciting at the same time. Because versus Arkansas, defense didn't play a good game. And we thought that the defense had turned that page in a big way after those 3 games at home where they really put their foot down and carried this team forward. Now the offense looks like they're in a good spot right now. That wasn't the defense to really test this offense, but they still showed progress. I mean, Marcel Reed misses some of those balls to open receivers that he made in the game versus Arkansas. So you can say whatever you want about that Arkansas defense. Marcel Reed made plays, but he missed some plays too. And that's kind of where this team is. They've been good enough to be 7-0. They've been good enough to take care of business, go on the road and win 2 games, one of which, a staple for the year versus Notre Dame, but a lot of work to do. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you guys make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We've been growing like crazy. We just hit 4,000 subs. We hit 3,000 in preseason. You guys have been awesome. But I really want you to comment. What do you like about this team? And what needs to improve? 2 things. I think that's what we're going to cover in this video. That's what I've been thinking about all week, is that there's just so much to like about this football team right now. But there's just so much more that it can be. And that's what makes this a really, really exciting football team and football season. Because you've laid the groundwork and you can still get better. So I want to hear that from you guys. Comment your favorite thing, what's the best aspect of this team, and let me know what you want to see. I'm going to do the same here for you guys in this video. We might not go position by position this week. I kind of want to talk about this team from like the overarching perspective, and in doing so, we'll get into some position groups and then talk about what needs to get better, because this game is everything for A&M. So tomorrow, this video is coming out Tuesday. The Wednesday video will be a hardcore preview on LSU. There will be some LSU notes in this video, but tomorrow I'll give you my score prediction and my actual thoughts on the matchups in the game. But this is a really Aggie-centric video right now. It's a really big moment for Mike Elko's Aggies, and he is an Aggie. All right. The main thing I like about this team, and I think we've all seen it, is that this team can adapt to whatever game is being played. And you can go game by game here, starting with Notre Dame. You had the shootout. You had another one versus Arkansas. The 3 home games, largely defensive games until the offense was able to break through. So I think this team obviously has shown they can win a lot of different styles of football. And that is something that everybody in the world sees, and it has to be brought up. And that's a hallmark of a good team. There's no matchup that really scares you when a team can go out and just adapt to the game that's being played. The game versus Arkansas, defense kind of sucked in the first half, and they'll tell you that. Elko will tell you that. But the offense did not skip a beat. They extended drives. They went for it on 4th down, which was their game plan. They had a plan for it, and they executed their game plan exactly how they needed to. They anticipated a high-scoring game, and it was, and probably gave up more than they wanted to. Definitely did. But they scored 45 points. They controlled time of possession, they controlled the ball, and they went on long extended drives that just kept the ball out of Arkansas's hands long enough for you to get the win against a very dangerous team. I was at that game, man. 4th quarter, that was as electric of an atmosphere as you'll ever see. It was packed, and a game got more packed over the course of the game because fans were filing in late due to the weather delay. You overcame the weather delay. That's another element this team can overcome. So adaptability, flexibility, that's a really, really good thing to have under your belt. Another thing about this team, they're playing complementary football in a way. It's not perfect, right? You're not having offense and defense just, teeing off at the same time. And that's something that needs to come down the road. And when we talk about things that need to get better, that will be there. But it's complementary in the fact that you've had games where the offense just doesn't, execute. Oh, Jimbo. Doesn't execute. Oh, God. Doesn't execute. That feels... Anyway, moving on. Think about the Auburn game, couldn't get out of your own way. Think about early Mississippi State, you couldn't get things going. Think about kind of the middle portion of that Florida game, couldn't get things going. Defense has the offense's back. And then the games versus Notre Dame and Arkansas, the offense was able to keep the pace or get you back into the game versus Notre Dame, just keep the pace versus Arkansas. So they're complementary in that when one's down, the other picks it up. We all see this. We all know this. Whenever they meet in the middle, man, it's going to be special. And could that be in Death Valley this weekend? Hope so, man. Because when that happens, that's when A&M will have fully arrived at the national stage. Because what we've seen from both sides, extremely high-level football, man. I mean, the amount of disruption you get in the backfield when the defense is at its best, the amount of sacks you get, your third down defense, your early down defense. That third down defense isn't what it is without stuffing some runs and, playing some good coverage. You get yourself into good situations. Then you get that, and then you get Marcel Reed hitting his checkdowns, making good passes, being accurate on the deep ball like we saw versus Arkansas. You get that Arkansas offensive performance, and you get that, Florida defensive performance, that Mississippi State defensive performance that we got in those games. I don't care what team you're going against. You can beat anybody in the country. So it's been great, but it can be a lot better. Let's get a little bit more specific here. I really like the leadership of this team. We knew that this year you had a lot of veterans. You had a lot of guys who have played a lot of football, seen a lot of college football, and that is a rare attribute to have as a team. And that's why before the season I said, guys, I'm predicting 9 wins here, but this team is capable of 10 or 11 because they have that very, very hard to come by attribute in today's day and age of football. And that shows in their nature. That shows that when they get punched in the mouth, when Arkansas gets momentum, when Florida scores early, there is no moment in a football game that is too hard for A&M to overcome. They're able to do it. They're able to keep chipping away, to knock it down, and we have seen in recent years, A&M does not do well when they get punched in the face. They do not perform well in the clutch of the game. They have lost games late. It happened last year against Auburn. I mean, you have seen this team dwindle over games. You are seeing this team thrive as the game gets more and more intense, and that has happened on the road and at home. So this team has a never say die attitude, and that goes down to leadership. I mean, you can look at Marcel Reed, his attitude, his connectiveness with the team, the way he communicates with his teammates, his whole persona is very, very positive. You can look at a guy like Albert Regis, who is just obviously an intelligent guy, a guy who is very spirited, a guy that can really boost the players around him. You can look at the secondary with guys like Will Lee, who have made very intentional efforts to be more of a leader on this team. I mean, there's just, and I think the best example this year of just like the leadership and the focus of this team was the chair incident versus Notre Dame. When Mike Elko throws the chair, defense just gave up a huge bust in zone coverage. He's screaming, he's throwing the chair. No dissension, no lack of focus. If you go back and watch that clip, every player locks in on Mike Elko and just gives them their full undivided attention. This is a team that understands winning. This is a team that understands the moments of games, and that is an attribute that will take this team really, really far. I like to point out a couple of coaches that I've brought up a couple times before. Tommy Moffitt, Trooper Taylor. Obviously, there's a lot of position coaches. You can look at Holman Wiggins as a great position coach that has brought talent and made a group better, this receiver group. But I just think overall, just intangibly, what you see from Trooper Taylor on the sidelines, rallying the team, the somebody light me up, boom. Like, that's all Trooper Taylor. I've seen, the defense coming off the field kind of head down or slower, and Trooper Taylor's like, let's go, guys. Come on. The offense, too, of course, but I think more so than just the running backs, which he's done an amazing job with. Trooper Taylor is just a guy that really brings that togetherness for a team. He's a really big deal there. And I mean, I don't have to tell you about Tommy Moffitt. This team getting better in fourth quarters, that's largely in part to Tommy Moffitt and what he does in the offseason. This team's intensity, the chair, the aggression, just their strength. I mean, freaking Amari Daniels just completely decleated defender last week. Amari Daniels just on the sideline takes him out of his shoes. I mean, you have some strong players, you have some tough players, and you get better over the course of the game. So I think Tommy Moffitt brings that toughness, and Trooper Taylor brings that togetherness. I think those are two really, really, I don't know if they're underrated because I think we Aggies acknowledge it, but they are just such a boon to this team, man. Overall, the thread, the nature of this team are boosted by these two coaches in a big way. But you can go down the list, man. Chris Peterson. You can go to obviously Adam Cushing. You can look at Holman Wiggins. You can look at a bunch of position coaches that are doing really well. But I think those two as a whole have just helped this team so much in their nature. And the leadership of this team is fantastic right now. And that is so, so good. Getting even more specific, the depth of this team has been a really, really strong attribute this year. You're just seeing guys pop up. I mean, ABR just had his breakout game with his 4 receptions and a touchdown. And really the game-winning reception, that Marcel Reed pass on the sideline late in the game on a 2nd and 10, that just extended that drive and got you in plus field position, milk more time off, and get the score. That's the play of the game, maybe the play of the year when it's all said and done. That was the one that allowed you to beat Arkansas. Like, if you had to look at one moment, that was it right there. And that was Ashton Bethel Roman. It wasn't Craver, who's been great, still leads the SEC in receiving yards. It wasn't Concepcion, who might be our best receiver. I mean, he might be the best, hands and route runner on the team, while Craver's the most dangerous guy with the ball in his hands. It was ABR. And I believe Bussy will have something to say down the road. Borkeshire's having moments. I think Mike O'Reilly just coming out of nowhere as a great blocker, as a guy they heavily utilize now. He started the game versus Arkansas. And you can look at this running back room. Ruben Owens, now your lead back, had a really good game. He's had a couple of receptions in the game, some really big ones. That's what Ruben Owens was built to do, and it's happening now. You can look at, the offensive line and how deep they go. You can see them moving guys around. You can look at that and look at how many players you just have to work with there. And this entire defense has shown it. I mean, you'll lose Bryce Anderson. You'll lose Scooby. I think Dalton Brooks and Damian Sanford are two of your most impactful guys these last 4 weeks. Even in the game versus Arkansas where you weren't great, Dalton Brooks had some really important chase downs in open fields and tackled some really big running backs in open field, allowing for A&M to hold Arkansas to a couple of field goals early in the game that ended up being really, really important to you winning this game. You can look at them using Julio Humphrey now. Julio Humphrey's getting a lot of reps now. He wasn't early in the season, but now as, wear and tear, as guys go through lumps, you're having him as a quality sub. I mean, and now guys are going to come back. You're seeing Scooby get into the game. Bryce missed last game. He'll be back. You look at this D-line, guys like Landon Rinker playing a lot more. You see Dalen Evans out there. You still see them go to Noah Mikael at moments. He was playing a lot in the Arkansas game. The depth of this team is really good, and it's not just there. It's quality, and it's making positive plays. And it's pretty incredible because I know in past years you lose a critical guy, and we're like, we have the injury bug. We're screwed. Injuries aren't going to let us win. And they've been healthy, like knock on wood. They have been very healthy, but when it's happened, you've had guys step up. I mean, you lose Le'Veon Moss, and you proceed to have an amazing offensive game. That doesn't happen in past years. So the depth of this team is freaking awesome, and it's helping this team so, so much. Now, you can get into specifics if you want. You can look at third down defense. It wasn't great versus Arkansas. Not terrible, but not great. It's been amazing the past few weeks. You can look at Marcel and his willingness to hit the check down and that evolution that we're seeing in real time. As Aggies Today said on this channel, a very realistic arc for Marcel Reed, just chipping away, getting better and better. But let's talk about where this team can improve. Because there are a lot of ways, as much as we just talked highly of this team in some overarching ways, there are a lot of ways they can get a lot better. And that's what makes this moment so important and pivotal going forward. Can you check these boxes? And it starts with what we were just talking about. Can you get both sides playing together? And I think I touched on it enough for us to reflect on it. I mean, y'all comment. What does this team look like if you get that high-level defense and then that offense we saw versus Arkansas versus Notre Dame where you're both explosive and able to control a game? I'd like to point out, and this is a sidebar here, early in the year, I think we were worried this offense might be feast or famine. I think we were worried that this offense would either score big or get off the field quickly, and this defense would just be dragging because they'd be on the field for so long. But in these last 2 games, you've capitalized the games with long, sustained drives. Versus Florida, it was that 50-yard drive that milked 8 minutes. 8 minutes, 50 yards is pretty incredible. And you score. Versus Arkansas, that drive with the ABR reception down the sideline. That was a long drive that milked a lot of clock out of the game and got you a score. So you're not just this one-dimensional offense. You're able to do a lot of different things, and that Craver catch and run will still be there. Casey Concepcion, man, Marcel threw a ball behind him on a crossing route where the defense busted. That might have been a touchdown. Those explosive plays are still there, and they will come. They will come. So this offense is multifaceted. It's getting better, but this defense took a step back. This defense did take a step back versus Arkansas. And it's a very talented Arkansas team. Let's be honest. It's a very good team. Taylon Green, I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks we'll face all year, if not the best. Like, let's be honest. Nuss is going to have a say in that. Pribula's pretty good. Arch, who knows what he is by then. I mean, Sellers, he's been good, but the team around him. So, if you are able to meet this thing in the middle, man, it's a championship caliber team. That's like the big thing. If you can just do it all at once, down to down, drive to drive, series to series. We're not just talking, can they compete? Can they contend? They can. We've seen it. The proof is there. They just got to do it together. So that's a really big thing. Let's talk about Marcel Reed, because it's been really good. And I touched on it a second ago. We've seen like this incremental improvement versus Mississippi State early in the game. We saw them he was just too aggressive, man, just chasing that deep ball, not looking for his checkdowns, not looking to run. But versus Arkansas, even versus Florida, the willingness to hit the checkdown. I mean, you can see 3 different tight ends with 2 receptions versus Florida. You can see the running backs getting involved. Ruben Owens with his 2 receptions, Borkashire with a couple of receptions. The underneath stuff was there. And the mesh was coming along. That play was there because Arkansas was running man pretty much the whole game, just cover 1, single high safety. And you're running mesh, you're running crossers, you're running those quick outs, and Marcel's just chipping away, hitting those. That is so good. But he's still missing stuff. It's not all there. I just talked about that Casey Concepcion one he missed. That was a touchdown. That one where he settled for a field goal late in the game on that 3rd down where he tries into the end zone. I forget who it was to. I think it was KC, and the defender puts a hand on it. He had a tight end open for a first down there. It's not all together yet, and I still think he just played his best football game. And Marcel Reed has shown that he is just so coachable. We also saw a willingness to run more this game, and I think that's a very cognizant effort after losing Le'Veon. Because I think there was this kind of narrative that Marcel's not running enough. He's not, using his best attribute quite enough. But he's trying to play 16 games. I have a feeling this coaching staff was like, Marcel, last-ditch effort is run. You have receiver talent like you've never had before. You have 5 running backs we can go to. You do not have to scramble. And if you scramble, get out of bounds, get down. We have seen him get out of bounds in plays where he could have extended to try for first downs this season. I know you know what I'm talking about. There have been some where he's running to the corner for a first down conversion to the end zone where he goes out of bounds. He is being told. I have a very strong feeling he is being told to protect himself, because we're trying to make this a 16-game season here. But that opened up a little bit versus Arkansas, and we see that willingness. But as soon as he puts it all together, and it's slowly getting pieced, the puzzle pieces are getting in there. With the weapons around him, the offensive line that's there, this offense can be even better. It can be. And I'm still extremely pissed off. I'm mad. It makes me feel a knot in my stomach every time I think about that touchdown that got called back late in the game versus Arkansas. You can call it a hold. It was one of those holds that, don't get called half the time. They might get called. Holding happens every play. That was one that doesn't always get called for versus Basantis. I mean, it was enough. It was enough. He had his jersey, and he didn't let go in time, but it was like a split second. That guy wasn't going to tackle Marcel. It was inconsequential to the play. But, man, that was such a good moment for Marcel. And you get that. You're at 52 points. And then you had Taylon Green almost bottled up and down, and he somehow gets out of a double pressure and runs for 50 yards. That was a 4th and 5 inside their 10. You could have had 59 points in the game because you would have gotten the ball at the 10 with 4 minutes to go, and you're going to score there. I mean, A&M's offense was going to score there this day. So, just back to Marcel. I keep going to these sidebars. This is a really exciting team, but he can be better, and he's getting better, and he will keep getting better. Now, this LSU defense will present its challenges, that's for sure. But a guy like Marcel has been exactly what kind of fouls up LSU. If you can get them kind of over-pursuing on some eye candy, if you get, those jet motion guys moving around, that can mess LSU up. We've seen Harold Perkins take the bait. We've seen the other linebackers take the bait. Whit Weeks has not been healthy. That's something that can work against LSU. I mean, maybe Marcel can put it together against possibly the best defense he will have faced on the year. LSU might represent that. I think Texas right now is definitively the best defense A&M will face this year. but LSU might be the second best. I think Auburn and Florida are right there. I think LSU is probably a tick above, although there have been some things that have been surprising about LSU in recent weeks. Will probably be the best secondary group A&M's faced this year with Halsey and Delane. But I still think Marcel can play ball against it. I still think this O-line can help him out. And that is really, really exciting. So I think this offense, I think everything's going really well, and it's getting better and better as Marcel gets better. And there's a lot of meat on that Marcel Reed bone right there. And that is the upside for this offense right there, is Marcel becoming that quarterback he can become, and he's already really freaking good right now. And I'll end with the defense because I have to say, I mean, I believe they can be what they were the 3 home games, but this big picture is kind of developing where, you know, you go up against a high-level offense like Notre Dame's and Arkansas's, you're not able to control the game like you were against some offenses that have some flaws like Florida, Mississippi State, and Auburn. So what is this defense going to ultimately be? Now, LSU, we'll talk about this more tomorrow, but this is an offense that I have deemed with a lot of upside that just has not played well. Their offensive line is not very good, though. That's something that A&M could take advantage of. So I view this as an opportunity for the A&M defense to get back on the right page. They have to do it on the road. They have to do it against an offense that has a lot of talent. I mean, Trey'Dez Green, their tight end, is really emerging right now. They've had some surprising emergences from receivers. I think the guys who I expected to be their playmakers aren't, but guys who I didn't expect to be, like Parker and Thomas, number 0, number 12 at receiver, have been their go-to guys. But it's a pretty one-dimensional offense. I think this defense can get back on the right page, but will they? Who is this A&M defense? Because we've seen 3 really good, and we've seen 4 games that kind of, you know, isn't so good. I mean, the 2, you know, non-con G5 opponents, you weren't great defensively. You weren't terrible versus Utah State, but you gave some stuff up. Obviously, half a game versus UTSA was probably the worst defensive game of the year. Notre Dame scored a bunch of points, 33. One was a blocked punt. So I hate when people are talking about A&M giving up 40, whatever it was, to Notre Dame. You gave up 33, okay? Let's just be real. One was a blocked punt. Just get on my high horse here. What is this A&M defense? Can they, you know, run fit better? There were a lot of run fit mistakes versus Arkansas. I mean, there were a lot of spy mistakes on Taylor Green, lack of discipline on spying him at times. You try to get aggressive and, you know, try to blitz your spy, and that wasn't going to work against Taylor because he's just too fast. Got to be disciplined. It should be a merciful run offense against LSU. It should be an opportunity to really tee off and do your thing. It really should be. So I expect that step to be taken versus LSU, and then a whole new world of challenges versus Missouri afterwards. So get right. What will you ultimately be defensively? Because I have to say, right now, 7 games in, jury's still out. You have some really good things going, but you make mistakes. What is this defense? How much better can they be? All right, guys. I wanted to just kind of reflect on this team, and without a crossroads right now, that's kind of my whole point here, because this game versus LSU is so big. Because you win the game, you're at 8 wins, 9 wins if you count Sanford. You just have to win 1 more to get to the playoff. 10 is the golden number. And you have a game, you know, that presents challenges versus Missouri. You bring South Carolina home. Hopefully you do well on that one. You should do well. They are in a very bad place right now. And then you end the game at Texas, and that game will be for pride and for glory and for rivalry factor and maybe to make it to Atlanta. But all you need is 2 if you get LSU. LSU is the one that opens the possibilities. Get your work done now. Don't make this thing on pins and needles late. This game represents everything you want in the season. It's a night game in Death Valley. It's a team that's reeling, that's backs are against the wall, because this game is a huge opportunity for them. This is their ticket back into the dance. This is their ticket back into belief in Brian Kelly, and right now they are out. The fan base is out. But if they go and they win this game, and they know this is on the table, they know this is their chance, they will be back where they want to be with a chance to make it into this thing late. So that'll be a really big one that we'll break down tomorrow. Guys, I will see you then. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Comment your thoughts. Thank you so much for being here. Like the video. And I'll talk to you soon. Gig 'em.